Hello, welcome to the First 11, Top Flight Football. We're going to be talking Ollie out, his Glazers in. Something I said on another channel. Had a good few DMs about this. People against it, people with it. I don't really care whether you're with it or against it. But I brought on unofficial pundit, Kai from the Terrace, Chelsea fan, O'Shea, Liverpool fan from the Terrace. I want to get into it. If you're watching, I want your comments. I'll put the link in the description. Come on, have your say, debate it, whatever. Let me come to unofficial pundit first. Firstly, welcome. And what's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on not just what I said, but like, what's your thoughts on managers coming in and out as they do?
I thought what you said was brilliant. I'll be honest with you. I've said it straight away. I retweeted it, didn't I? I said, well said. I thought what you said was brilliant. I probably agree with 75% of it. Not just what you're saying, but I mean when you look at the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with about 75% of it. 25% of it I have to put on the manager. But the bulk of it for me, why I say I agree with 75% of it is if you look at Lampard, and I think he's doing really well with Chelsea. I don't know how Kai feels. I've not seen any of your stuff, bro, but we'll probably get to that. I feel like Lampard is doing well with Chelsea at the moment. He's been a bit unlucky in the beginning as well. He had loads of injuries. Ziyech was injured straight away, so they've had to wean him in. He's going to have to get used to the Premier League as well, so that don't help. Pulisic, I don't know what goes on with him. 1 minute I see him there and he's starting, next minute he's not even in the squad. I don't know. I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I wouldn't know 100%, but if Lampard didn't get those players and didn't get that much money and had to deal with getting a free agent who nobody else really wanted, let's be honest, in Cavani, and had to get a left back that nobody knew 1 year ago, unless you like a lot of stats. Let's be honest, no one really knew Tellers. I never heard no one talking about him a year ago.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not up to date with football, but I'm on Twitter, so... and everyone I saw talking about Tellers when we was linked to him was no one knew anything about his defending or anything. They just knew that he got assists in the Portuguese league. I can't rate that. Where Lampard went and got Chilwell, he didn't have to go for a second choice. He went for his main choice. He got his main choice. He got Werner up front, not some reject who was Choupo-Moting's ball boy. So I feel sorry for Ole in some senses because I feel like had you given Ole the players he wanted, or the players Man United should be going for. With Manchester United, all we heard over the last couple of seasons is if you get Champions League football, you'll get the players. If you don't get Champions League football, you're not going to get the players.
Mm-hmm.
We got Champions League football, and our marquee signing was Cavani. And this is why when everyone was screaming and going mad when we come back and beat Southampton, yes, Cavani did well. He came on, changed the game. But he's 33, going to be 34. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that was our marquee signing. So, yes, I feel sorry for Ole. But on the other hand, I look at things like, it's like Ole follows what the fans say half the time. I'm sure he's got a burner account on Twitter. Because now, all of a sudden, Cavani come on, got a couple of goals in the season at Southampton, and everyone was saying, we want to see Martial on the left, we want to see Rashford on the right, we want to see Cavani up front. What does Ole do? That's what he does the next game. And then the game after that. You can't be starting a 34-year-old who's not in your plans every game. You can't be. For me, you can't be doing that. He's got to be an impact sub. Or when you're playing a weak team at home like Burnley and they're doing bad, you bring him in. Or Sheffield United, you might start him to give Martial a rest or give Rashford a rest. And the other one that confuses me is there seems to be this hate for Dan James now. Now, I'm not saying Dan James is world class, but he was good enough last season to play away against Liverpool, play at home against Liverpool when he set up the goal for Rashford. He was good enough to play other games, but now all of a sudden, he's not good enough to even get 5 minutes in the team. Not even 5 minutes. Yeah. And for me, the team ain't doing no better without him. So Ole's making some bad decisions as well. And the worst decision for me, and why I think he half has to lose his job, is because he changes the formation every single game. Every single game, he changes the formation and the midfield personnel. How's your midfield going to gel if the three in midfield change every single game? That's the honest truth.
I agree with you. See, here's the thing for me. It's not that, and I'll say it again, I'm not Ollie in. I'm manager in because I need to see the cycle broken.
Yep.
That every 18 months a new manager, it's no good.
Yep.
For me, there's like, I think it's 7 now. I think it's 7 half-built squads.
Yep.
There's no balance in this side at all. Is Ollie a world-class manager? No, he is not. Do I think he's a top coach? No, I don't. That's not the point here. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you direct your energy at these managers, you're deflecting from the real problem. We had Jose Mourinho. Kai will tell us in a minute what Jose Mourinho can do when he comes into a club. We had LVG. LVG was the blueprint. The blueprint. We're still doing things. I hear people talking about players still doing things that suit LVG style of play, playing next to players who are more of a Mourinho player. And it's not just the squad that's unbalanced, it's their thought process. It's going to take a long time to win this out of the players.
But that's why I said this conversation after the Leipzig game. We was all furious with Ole. But I also said that Ole hasn't had to come in and just tackle one area. His goalkeeper's letting him down all over the pitch. And this was meant to be the best goalkeeper in the world. Has been letting him down for the 2 seasons he's been there. He's letting him. De Gea's been terrible. Let's be honest, and he ain't getting no better. He'll pull off one save, and you'll see on Twitter, prime De Gea's back. No, he's not. He pulled off a save. All goalkeepers. He's had to sort out the defense. He's had to sort out the midfield. He's had to sort out attack. And then I hear people talking about, Lukaku should have stayed. Lukaku's shit. Lukaku is shit. He proved that yesterday. You need to be putting your team. You need to be putting your team through in the Champions League. He couldn't do it last year, and he hasn't done it this year. This year they're not even going to Europa. Lukaku's shit. So I don't want to hear. So he's had to sort out attack. We've still got no wingers. He's still not been given a right winger. We've got no right winger. It's embarrassing. The club like Manchester United have no right winger. That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
If it's for one season, I can say fair enough. There's a target they want. They maybe couldn't get him this summer. They're keeping it quiet. We'll get one next summer. It's been going on for years. This has been the last recognised right winger I know we've had. What Valencia? We made him right back in the end. We have no recognised right winger. That's embarrassing for a club like Man United. It really.
Or DM.
So I feel sorry. I feel sorry for Ole. I do, in certain aspects, and I blame him for other things. Like I said, changing the team all the time, changing the midfield and the formation all the time. They can't get used to one thing. Like we don't know. Let's be honest. We don't even know how we're playing against City this weekend. It could be a diamond. It could be 5 at the back. It could be a flat back 4. You don't know who's going to be in midfield. It could be Fred and Matic now. It could be Fred and McTominay. You just haven't got a clue who's playing. But for me, and I'll say this loud, and I don't care who disagrees with it. Anyone who condones the Cavani signing, you're Glazer puppets. Anyone who condones that signing, you are Glazer puppets. And the reason why I say that was, if you sign Sancho and Cavani, good. You've got a striker that Martial that can learn off of, and you signed your main player, Sancho. But when you sign Cavani and Telles, it's an embarrassment. Oh no, sorry, Pelestri and Diallo. Now I'm seeing people on there. Wait till Diallo comes. You can't even get into the Atlanta team.
He's an academy signing. He's not a first-time player.
He's probably going to be playing.
I want to address this though quickly. Carrick, McKenna, and Phelan, bunch of clowns. Actually, if you know your history, Sir Alex was not a coach. He was a manager. Mick Phelan was a coach, and we won things with Mick Phelan. As for Carrick and McKenna, I'm not sold on them either. I'm not sold on the only explanation I can give for this is that they're trying to wean players from the academy into first team. I don't think that's the right way to go. You should still have first team coaches. I still think that should happen. We do need better coaches in there. But as for Mick Phelan, for me, he's proven. We just need better stuff. I want to go to Kai. Kai, your thought as a Chelsea fan, like Chelsea have probably been the most dominant. Well, they've been the most dominant side the last 10 years or so. You know about Jose Mourinho. You've seen what he can do when he comes into a club when he's fully backed. When you look at Manchester United, do you see the problem being the manager? Or do you see the problem or do you see this problem solved in any way at all by a new manager coming in? How do you look at it?
See, the way that I look at it is, honest to God, like you know me, I speak like my opinion, and I don't care like
Yep,
how
that's
it
why you're here.
sounds. If Chelsea fans agree with me or they don't, I don't think you can separate Lampard and Ole as far as quality. The difference between them two is the fact that Lampard has a board behind him who knows the value of players and always had a plan. They planned to sign Pulisic 3 years before they signed him. They have like an opinion about each player that they want to sign, and they already have a plan to how is he going to integrate in the team. So regardless of which manager we have, we always have a plan to what we want the team to be like, you know. And then we have those options that we offer the manager, and the manager picks the best option that fits his system. But towards whenever you come to that, the best players, our director of football, which in this case is Marina Garovskaya, she speaks with our main scout, and they decide if that player is the right decision for the club going forward. I feel at United example,
So,
I think
Kai, what you're saying is there's ambition from the top. There's an end goal here.
There's organization
Past
from the
money.
top. I think would be a better word, that we actually have an organization. I feel like with United is you look for an option that makes sense at the moment. You don't look at for the long run. And I feel for that reason we can afford to have managers like Lampard who are not as experienced, who can learn on the job, because there's someone behind him who builds the team where all Lampard has to do is coach. At United, the reason I don't think Ole is a bad manager, I think he's a good manager, but I think at United you need a better manager to get the best out of those players that you will bring in due to the lack of ambition you have from the top. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say to you?
Bro, I actually couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't.
It makes sense in theory.
It makes sense. And why I say it makes sense is Ibrahimovic. I never wanted him at Man United. And why did I not want him at Man United? Because I knew it would be a season, maybe two. That wasn't solving our problem. So the minute he couldn't play no more after one season, we've gone and spent 75 million on Lukaku. Surely they didn't want Lukaku. Couldn't they have got Lukaku a year before that? No, because they didn't want him. But they were forced him to now find another player. And it's the same with Cavani. You've now moved. We've played Martial up front. This is where I blame Ole. You played Martial up front for a whole season. He was our top goal scorer.
Yeah.
And now you've gone and got Cavani and you push Martial out on the left again, where we know it didn't work. Because if it did work, you wouldn't have put him as a striker for a whole season. You would have kept him on the left.
Yeah.
So Ole doesn't know what he's doing as well. But like I
don't
said,
mind that though. I don't mind that. I'll be honest.
What?
I see it as options. I don't see it as Cavani has to start every game.
Yeah,
I see it as two different strikers, two different options. Personally,
for me,
with different solutions, type of games, kind of thing.
But for me, you're not. But for me, then you're not finding what the problem is. What is Martial the problem?
I think ultimately, and I said this on the terrace the other day. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think ultimately, and I said this on the terrace, I think yesterday. The situation with Ole is very similar to the situation with Arteta in that they're not the problem, but they don't make it any better. And that is the ultimate, that's the similarity, the comparison I'm making. I've said this to a gal about Arteta. I don't think Arteta is the problem at Arsenal, but he doesn't make the situation any better. Do you know what I mean? And Ole is the same. He's not the problem. He doesn't make the situation any better. I think where United fans need to direct their frustration is at Ed Woodward and at the board. And I said that what I said on the terrace was, it's a repeated cycle since Alex Ferguson left. For 4 years, 7 years. Sorry, I got confused for a second. For 7 years, coming up 8 years now, you've had 4 different managers, 4 different squads, 4 different sets of players, 4 different sets of styles, formations, philosophies, etc. And the players the same issues are arising. Why are the players playing like this? Why are these problems happening on the pitch? Why are the players saying things on social media and saying things to their agents and etc.? Why are these things happening? And it's a repeated cycle, and it all comes down to one denominator: it's Ed Woodward and the board. Now, do I think Ole should get sacked? I mean, I don't think he should. I don't think he should, because bringing in a Pochettino or an Allegri or an Nagelsmann will only paper over the cracks. And then in 18 months' time, when you're in the same problems and the same positions because the board haven't backed the manager and there's unrest at the club, everyone's going to be saying the same thing. At what point does the penny drop with where United fans recognize what the issue is. Jose Mourinho's success at Tottenham is a prime example of that. Every United fan was saying he failed at United because he's no longer the special one. He's no longer the manager he used to be. He goes to Tottenham and look at him. And the squad he's got at Tottenham arguably isn't as good as the squad he had at United. So
Yeah.
you have to ask yourself,
but there's a huge difference there. And I agreed with 99% of what you said. But this Jose Mourinho hype, and I don't care what anyone says to me, the Jose Mourinho hype is being carried by two players. Son, who's in his absolute prime at 28, and Harry Kane, who's an absolute monster. Harry Kane now will not get the same amount of goals. Not that he ain't going to be playing great. He won't get the same amount of goals because he's now become their creator. And he's also become like their Drogba.
Yeah.
Drogba didn't get the same number of goals as Shearer used to. But that doesn't mean Drogba wasn't great, or the same number as Henry used to. Doesn't mean Drogba wasn't great. Drogba would do things in a game that would benefit the team. Like
I think the point still remains the same though. I'm not going to jump on the Jose hype and the Tottenham hype because I haven't seen them win anything. That isn't the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that in itself, the success he's having with Tottenham is a prime example of the denial that a lot of United fans are in. They all said Jose was the problem. He's past it. Sometimes managers, it happens to them, they're not as good as they used to be. He's gone to Tottenham and look at what he's doing. And that is another piece of evidence to show you.
As Danny says, that's the Ollie disease. You can't see past the manager. That is the Ollie disease.
And you know what it is, Indiana. It's actually there's a term in marketing. Yeah, you basically judge the first thing you see. That's what people use words. People can only criticize what they see on a daily basis. Who do they see? They see Ed Woodward, and they see Ole every time in front of the press conference. So those are the first thing that they associate with Manchester United. They don't associate the board that they rarely see in front of them. They rarely do you ever hear from the United board? Very rarely you hear from Ed Woodward. So you don't associate him with being in charge of the club. That's how your brain capitalize it. But in the reality is, those are the people who make the decision. Those are just not the people who face the media. That's basically it. And as far as United goes, yeah. But as far as United goes, let me just finish one point. Yeah, as far as United goes, can the squad that Ole has win the league? No. Did he achieve the second best thing, win the Champions League? Yes. Did he get them Champions League whenever they finished Europa before? On this premises alone, he deserves to finish the season with this because he achieved his goal. Regardless of how you feel about him as a person, as far as an achievement, he did his job. Because he got the best out of that quality.
Can I just jump in?
Yeah, but let me finish.
Can I just jump in there? Not only that. Go on.
Yeah, I don't think he is the solution for United going forward. But at least for the fact that he got the club back where they belong in the Champions League. Regardless of the fact that he got knocked out or not. But he did get the club the Champions League money. He got them back into the Champions League. So he did his part of the stick, So the board can't go now and be like, hey, Lampard right now, if he doesn't get higher than fourth, he should be held accountable because of the amount of money that invested in him. Ole didn't get that. Ole got a panic buy.
Did you realize if Ole gets top 4 this season, it'd be the first time. If he gets it this season, it'd be the first time it's been done back to back since Sir Alex.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Let me just jump in there.
What I'm saying, hang on 1 second. For me, it's about progress. As long as I see progress, the manager has to stay. Because there's no quick fix for this.
Yeah, and you also have to use.
That's
you
my
have
point.
to use what he received, what the kind of backing he got, right? Like you can't judge Ole the same way that you're gonna judge players like Lampard, players like Klopp, because what they inherited. The enforcement from the board that they received are not equal, so you can't judge them based on this. But with at least with Chelsea, right? Because I'm a Chelsea fan. I said this 100 times. For me, if we don't get Champions League and we win the FA Cup, it's not good enough for me. Because the amount of money that we invested, the FA Cup is not good enough. Then we should be at least doing better than we did before because we invested more.
Let me just jump in on this point, right? And I've said this many times. I said it on the terrace and on other people's streams, etc. And Ole has been massively let down. I think this summer's transfer window has massively let Ole down and undone a lot of the work he's done. I've said many times, Ole is the best manager you guys have had since Alex Ferguson. I don't care about the Europa League that Jose won. I don't care about the whatever trophies Van Gaal won. That is irrelevant to me. Yeah. The job Ole was brought in to do was to level out United, steady the ship, and then make way for a better manager like Pochettino or whoever to come in and take United to that next level.
Yep.
Now Ole had done that. If you look at before the transfer window, he had Indiana. When you look at United before the transfer window, you guys were starting to get steady.
But you know what the
problem? For me, that's
we can.
I tell you where the problem lies, though.
Let me just finish my point. Let me just finish my point. Yeah, let me just finish my point. Look, yeah, we can go back and forth about who's the best manager, Pochettino, Nagelsmann, Allegri. The manager is irrelevant. The point I'm making is the job that Ole was brought in to do was to steady the ship and get and just clear out all the toxicity, and he was doing that. There wasn't any unrest at the club for a very long time. Pogba was playing better, feeling better, happier. You could see that with his performance. He brought in Bruno Fernandes, who looked like he completely brought a new sort of energy to the players. The only time I've seen that was when Van Dijk came to Liverpool. You know, that sort of energy that the other players are feeding off. And then the transfer window happens and you go through this whole saga with Jadon Sancho, and it's completely unraveled everything at United again. And I think Ole has been being given a very massive disservice for what he's done for United. Do I think he's the best manager for the job? No, and maybe this is the right time for him to leave because he can't do anything more. And but I do feel like Ole's been let down a lot by United, and that just goes to show you the real issue.
What more can he do with the squad, though? He got the maximum out of the squad.
Let me just jump in there.
Liverpool fans. Before anybody else goes, hang on, wait 1 second. Before anybody else goes, firstly, like, subscribe, share, do all that business. You know what to do. Unofficial pundit, say what you've got to say, and then I want to get ads involved. And hear what he's got to say after.
It's Chelsea fan ads. It's for Kai and Shane, and I don't totally disagree with what you guys are saying. But the issue is, Kai, if all your players are fit, yeah, do you know who your back four is going to be? If all your players are fit, do you know who your back four is going to be?
This season, yes. Last season, no. This season, we knew it's going to be Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma.
So after your transfer window, you know.
So you know, okay. Do you know what the formation is going to be when all your players are fit? When Lampard wants to play his football, do you know what your formation is going to be?
Yeah, but Lampard have changed it a lot, so that's kind of a difficult question. You know?
And then when you look at someone like Klopp, for example, he got backing by the board, but not as much back as people say because he bought a lot of cheap players as well, a lot of very cheap players that weren't.
Yeah, well, Salah wasn't even his player.
Yeah.
Salah Klopp didn't even want Mohamed Salah.
And also with Klopp, one thing I'll give Klopp. And I hate to say it because I hate Liverpool. Listen, I make that very clear. But one thing you have to give Klopp, for 4 years, he did not change his system. He played the same players. He played the same system. And he found his problem. He would find his problem. He would look at it and he knew they needed a goalkeeper. He went and got that. He knew what centre-back. He knew he liked his fullbacks and what centre-back he wanted. He knows what midfielders he wants and he knows how he wants to play up front. Firmino don't get load of goals, but he likes him in his system.
Facts, Lincoln.
With Ole, I can't tell you what Ole's system is. Now what Ole's trying to do is, I want to play Bruno, but I also want to play Pogba. I also want to play Donny van der Beek. I know what to do. I'm going to go with a diamond. You've never played a diamond before. And the prime example for me was last season, Chelsea weren't doing great.
We were doing crap in my books, man.
We was doing well, really well. We had you in a FA Cup semi-final.
Pundit, that just feeds into the saying. You know, you get some managers out there who are great coaches. For example, Brendan Rodgers and Pep Guardiola, great coaches, but their management skills are not that great. And Ole is the opposite. Ole is a great manager. His coaching skills are terrible.
I know, but the point I'm trying to make is this is why fans are against Ole as well, because what happens is we go into that Chelsea game, we've been playing 4-3-3, and we've been looking so good. And I'm beating, running everything. What then happens? What happens straight after that? We play Chelsea in the FA Cup, and we go 5 at the back, and we get played off the park because we play football.
Unofficial pundit.
Let me just address this a minute. Let me just address this guy. You can say that you don't like the style of play, you don't like the system, but to say no system is
That's
just
insane.
is madness.
That's insane.
This
He
tells
wouldn't-
me you.
He wouldn't
this
have
tells
passed
me
his
you watch
UEFA
certain
badge if he didn't have any
YouTubers.
system, man.
There's a certain type of YouTuber who you watch and you listen to everything they say and it's gospel to you. Okay,
Mm.
cool. But
No, you know what it
I
is,
need
Indiana.
context, mate.
These people don't know that in order for a manager to become a manager, he has to pass UEFA like accreditations. They don't just become manager because they want to be manager. They have to pass tests. They have to be verified. They have to see that they're managers. So them not having system is insane, man. It's just like a very fan like statement that has no basing behind it. But
Yeah.
based on the fact that
It
I'm
comes
gonna
from
be
fans.
I'm gonna
It
be
comes from
completely
fans that play Football Manager. It
Yeah.
comes from fans that play Football Manager, play FIFA, and then they think they know what they're talking about. That's
But even
where
Football
that
Manager,
sort of statement
if
comes
you don't have a system, the game chooses a system for you, man. That's how lunatic it is. Anyway, but my point was, I'm gonna be completely blunt with you. Both us, Arsenal, and you guys don't have good enough managers for our clubs, right? The only difference between all three of our clubs, based on resumes, I'm not basing it on how I feel about Lampard or how you feel about Ole or how they feel about Arteta. It's regardless. Those managers do not have enough experience to be managers of our respective clubs, right? But the difference between Chelsea and United and Arsenal is the fact that we have an owner who wants to see the club successful. So he invests a lot of his money in it. Therefore, we can make those like slow
and
progressions.
that is the main difference, Kyle.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
That is the main difference. That is the big difference. Manchester United and Chelsea both have a massive budget to spend on players, but the difference between both the owners is one set of owners don't want to set up a long-term plan, and the other set of owners, which is Roman Abramovich, wants to set up a long-term plan and knows what his goals are and knows where he needs to spend that money. And that's ultimately the difference. I feel like for me, a lot of people look at the manager. And this goes to show it's the lack of football knowledge. It's the difference between those of us who understand the game and those of us who just sit down with a beer and watch it for 90 minutes. That is the big difference, because the people that blame managers, they don't understand there's a lot of outside groundwork. There are no more Arsene Wengers. There are no more Alex Fergusons where they run the club and they make decisions. That isn't how management works anymore. Jurgen Klopp, for example, didn't want to sign Mohamed Salah. He didn't choose Salah. He didn't even want Salah. Managers no longer run the club. And this is what fans need to get in their brain. This is what fans need to get in their brain. It's about the transfer.
You know what the problem is with fans? I tell you what the problem is with fans. A lot of fans forget one major thing, yeah? And this goes to Man United and Arsenal, especially, and their fans, is when I say certain things sometimes people go, you're a xenophobe, you want Brexit FC. No. Let me tell you something. Liverpool's left-hand side was bought from the Premier League. That's Van Dijk, that's Mane, and that's Robertson. I know he was booked for the Championship, but he's just been in the Premier League. That means they already knew the Premier League. Wijnaldum was bought from the Premier League. Then you can add other players to it. The problem with Man United fans and Arsenal fans is they don't want no players from the Premier League. They just want to go and buy players abroad from other leagues. But you have to understand something. Those players might need a season and a half to adapt. We don't have a season and a half. Look at Sir Alex Ferguson. Why was Sir Alex Ferguson?
Because it's that old school mentality, unofficial.
Why was Sir Alex Ferguson so dominant in England, but not as dominant in Europe? You know why? Because every time a good player would come up in the Premier League, bam, he'd go and buy him. He would go and buy some of the best players in the league.
And it's that old school mentality, unofficial pundit. That old school mentality of fans back in the day. We're all of a similar age, and we remember back in the days of where if you wanted a team, you had to go out and get the best players from Spain and the best players from Brazil.
You know what
and the best players from there and the best players from there.
Let's let Ads jump in here a minute, because Ads hasn't said anything yet. And
give us a Chelsea, a rival fan opinion, man. Chelsea
seriously,
fan,
as a younger United fan, like for me, it's always interesting to hear how that generation look at it, because they didn't grow up through the 90s and early noughties watching us win everything there is to win. So for me, it's his perspective on it. So what's your first thoughts on it, Ads? What comes into your head straight away with this?
I'll start by saying this. Start to this week it's been really depressing for me. I'll say why, because I knew what response the United fan base would have to us being knocked out of the Champions League, and I said this time and time again. We would lose that game. Everyone said to me, "Be positive, lads. Be positive. Don't be, like you said, don't treat these big YouTubers as if they're God." You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not that guy. I don't watch these channels and claim that everything they say is right, because it isn't. half the time it's bullshit. And I'll tell you that now. I don't watch these idiots. I'll tell you this now. I stick to my own opinion. I rifle it all up and I vision it and I say we're gonna lose that game or we're gonna win that game. Draw, lose, win, doesn't matter. I said we'd lose that game and they give us a thrashing in the first half. No one believed me. Everyone said you're stupid. I said, what should happen? It doesn't matter if we lost or came back with 2 goals. We were shit. And I'll tell you this now. Some idiot was at me earlier. He said that we're not Europa League material, we're Champions League material, and our backline needs to fix up. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
De Gea, right, I'll say this right now. When a ball is coming at you from a perpendicular angle, should you be saving it if it's on the ground? Yes, you should. The first goal was savable, and everyone's telling me that there's no way David De Gea can save it. When they say that he's our saving grace, but in between the sticks. Like if he's a world-class goalkeeper, you can say that if it's on the ground, if it's a grounded shot. And to be honest with you, I'll say this now: all the people who blame him just for a single goal, you're dumb. You clearly didn't analyze the game properly because I'd say this right now: the third goal was David De Gea's fault, 110%. He just did. He didn't say committed to the challenge. He didn't say committed to the save. I'm watching it, and I did a watch along on GNA TV, and I lost my bottle, man. I completely lost my shit. I was mad.
Ads, what are you saying? Are you saying are you saying that there's a big player problem as well as manager problem?
Yeah, because you got as far away from the topic as possible, as.
Yeah,
are you saying that's part of the problem? Like, where do you see the fix here? Where is the fix here?
It's a player. It's player errors as much as a manager error. Error. And I'll say this right now: if you just blame Ollie, it's not. You're not right. You just say it's Ollie. Like you said, you have to readjust the thoughts in your brain and understand. We've had many managers, and it's still been the same problems, and it's worsened through the years.
Yeah, it's the board.
It's the
because
I'll say this right
board
now.
hires the managers, man. I don't understand this.
If
you work in a job, right? And that company that you work in, keep hiring those people who keep getting sacked, who keep underperforming. At the end of the day, somebody from your company is gonna be like, "Hey, man, that middle manager is a bit slow. We need to replace him. He's not doing his job." At the end of the day, you need to stop using like the managers as shields. You know what I mean?
You know what?
I want to go to Monster quickly. Listen, he might be.
If he's not eating, man. He's not eating.
But when it comes to talking real football, the guy knows what he's talking about. He's in his 40s. He knows his stuff. First,
allegedly.
Make sure you do that and get your comments in. Monster, thoughts on this? What's the fix for United? Or what's the problem?
You know what it is, yeah? When I saw that Leipzig game, I thought Man United had it in the bag. It was a simple thing of Ollie. All Ollie needed to do was play his normal football, because the way Ollie plays is he sets up on the counter-attack, and Man United, let's not lie, they're deadly. Like one of the most devastating teams on the counter-attack with how fast your players are, how clinical they can be at times. Obviously, Bruno being in there. Bruno's a world-class player, for being honest, isn't it? But he did the same thing Guardiola did last season, where he changed things up for some reason. And what's the saying? The saying is, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it's not broken, you don't fix it. The way to play Leipzig is you invite them on the counter attack, you hammer them, and trust me, they open up on the counter attack. You saw that in the later on where you guys scored 2 goals against them, innit? So I think he is to blame for changing the way. I'm not a fan of managers. I'm not a fan of managers. Guardiola did this last season.
I don't agree.
Hold on.
I agree.
Guardiola did this.
Hold
on. Let me just finish.
Let him land.
Guardiola did this last season against Lyon. Yeah, he changed up his tactics. Lampard did this against Man United. Switching, I think it's to a back 5. So you switch up your tactics, you ruin everything, innit? And that's what happened in that Champions League defeat. Do I think Ollie should be kicked out? The problem is with that is that even if we've all been saying this a million times over, even if you kick out Ollie, you bring in Poch or whoever, are they going to be backed the way they need to be backed? Only Lord knows, you know what I mean? If they're not, what can they do? They're going to be handicapped at the same time, and it's going to be the same problem over and over again. So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is. A lot of people are saying, Ollie wasn't necessarily backed, but even if you look at money-wise, Ollie did get money to buy players. Like last season, you lot spent almost 200 mil with Maguire. Yeah,
It's where
they're
it's
not. That's the
spent.
problem. The problem is they're spending, but they're not spending wisely. Because you look at Everton. Everton didn't spend as much, but they spent wisely. Tottenham.
Yeah, but
Tottenham didn't
that's not
spend
on him
much.
though. That's not on him.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy to blame a manager for individual games, but the overall issue at United is been the same recurring issue for the past 7 years. And that
O'Shea is what Man United. The question you should ask with Ollie is that let's just forget about the board. We know the board's fucked on that. But let's now look at Ollie and the management. Is what Man United have not good enough to at least be competing for the Premier League? Because they are good. What you have is good enough. Do you know what I mean? Last season,
I think on
Ollie
paper,
beat.
I think
last
on paper
season,
you're right, but in terms
wait,
of
hold on,
balance,
hold on. Wait, hold on,
They're good enough to get top four. I think they're good enough to get top four. But the challenge for the league, when you want to talk about comparing their team to Liverpool's and City's team, I don't think that. I don't think only Chelsea have the squad.
How many times did Ollie? Hold on. How many times did last season to now, you lot somewhat improved. You brought in squad depth in Van der Beek because you lot said if Bruno or Pogba's out, you've got no one to replace them. Now you've got Van der Beek for that. You brought in a better left back in Alex Telles. You've done that. You brought in a very good striker that could be world class in Edison Cavani. You've done that. Now, last season, you beat Chelsea 3 times. You beat Man City about 3 times as well. You were the first team to take points off Liverpool, if I'm not wrong, when you drew 1-1 or whatever. Yeah. You have a team good enough to beat anyone on any given day in Europe. Do you get what I mean? So to me, that's down to the manager for not getting the best out of them.
Can I say something though?
Go on. Just say something about your thing as well that you said though. And this is a question to everyone, especially to you, Ads, especially to you, Indiana, because obviously we're United supporters, yeah? But should De Gea be starting at the moment? Truthfully, on form and everything, should De Gea be starting?
He hasn't done bad this season.
I say this right now. Like the manager swap. If Henderson starts and he fucks up, everyone's gonna say, "Oh yeah, but it's
De Gea, man.
Started De Gea because our fucking fan base they don't know how to keep their head in the game."
But the point I'm making is, we won't know. The point I'm making is, we won't know if De Gea is the problem or not because Ole don't play for enough games. We haven't seen him for 10 games out to know. Do you know what? De Gea was a problem. Then I can say to you, who's a we don't know if Fred is good enough to play that position every week because he'll stick McTominay next to him. He'll stick Pogba next to him. We don't know if Rashford's good enough to play on the right or where the problems lie because Ole will change it every game. Now, you got fans that saying De Gea should be dropped. You got fans saying that it shouldn't be. But to find out whether De Gea is a problem or not, play Henderson for 5 or 10 games. Play Henderson for 5 or 10 games. And this is the problem with Ole. We don't know what's going on right now. I can't tell you who's going to start against City. I can't tell you. I really cannot tell you who's going to start. And that's a problem when in 2 years the manager doesn't know his own best starting 11. And you people. Go on, bro. Go on.
Can I just say something though? I hear what you're saying, and I completely 110% agree. I just want to say this right now. I said this. Whoever plays next to Scott McTominay, they're always going to have better quality than him. In my opinion, Fred and Van der Beek are way better than McTominay standard. You want to argue with it, then clearly you don't watch football because you've seen the performance they're both put in.
But Fred had a bad game as well.
I'll say this right now, though, Kai. I'll say this right now. It's so coincidental that the game that Fred plays against McTominay, he has to make way rasher challenges. And I'll tell you why he had to make rash challenges. Because McTominay wasn't doing anything. Same thing happened when Van der Beek was next to him. Van der Beek got taken off. And the reason why he wasn't is because he was putting in a double shift. There's 2 players. He was doing a 2-man job. He had to make challenges. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out and said, Van der Beek, well, I say this right now, it was worthy that he might have got a card before the 60th minute. And you know what? He might have. But I'll tell you why that is. Because McTominay is not committed and he doesn't do anything. He's just there. And the player next to him has to do 2 things.
But what you're saying, number one, comes down to the manager then, because he shouldn't be playing McTominay there. Number 2, what you're saying isn't fair because I'm sorry, I don't care what you say. Fred isn't good enough either. And I really like Fred. But why I say he's not good enough is, do you know how many players over the years have got booked in the 10th minute of a Champions League game and go the whole 90 minutes without getting sent off and can stay on the pitch? Everyone's talking about, Fred should have been subbed off. He's a fucking professional footballer who Manchester United paid over 50 million for. And he can't get a second ball.
Hold on. The manager needs to. Kai, remember when we were watching was it a Sevilla game? Or was it, who was it? And then Kovacic got an early card. What did I say? I said you need to hook him off now. Now that we scored a second goal,
But that's not
just
fair.
get him
And
off.
we're
Hold on,
sitting there
hold on.
blaming McTominay. We're sitting there blaming McTominay. But everyone said when Bruno came in, and then we went on the lockdown, and then when we came back, everyone said, "Watch this midfield now: Fred, Pogba, Bruno. They're gonna run things." What was the midfield against Sevilla? Fred,
But Monster, usually
Pogba,
Kovacic is
Bruno.
very calm. You know,
McTominay wasn't
Fred
there.
is not the first time though.
No, but
But
we played well that game, unofficial.
What I'm saying is, as a manager,
playing well
as a
and losing
manager,
that game.
once you see your player getting an early yellow card like that, and he got away from an earlier red card as well. You have to look at the what's going on, assess the situation. You have to pull him off. That's good management, bro.
Can I
That's
say
good
something
management.
though?
I agree. I think he had to come off.
Can I say something though?
We
He
know
deserves
he's
to come
already
off.
losing
One second,
2-1.
lads. 1 second. He deserved to come off. Fair enough. He's lucky to get a yellow. But I'll tell you this right now. That was not a red card offense. Second
was
one was not a red card
Bro,
offense. It was.
bro,
He won the
it wasn't.
ball. If this happened,
Bro,
1 second.
it
If this happened,
wasn't.
It doesn't
It
matter.
official.
It
Let me
doesn't
finish.
matter.
Let me
Why did he
finish.
have
Let
to
me
make the
finish.
tackle? Why did he have
If
to make the tackle?
Bro, he won the
Why did he
ball,
not ask
man.
for
He
it?
won the
But
ball.
why did he have to
I
make
just
the
want to take
tackle?
time. I just want to take time to just point out. Yeah, it's so amazing when you're sat there and your team's just doing amazing, and all these other fans are just getting mad about their club, and you're just sat there in sunshine and rainbow.
You're only 2 points above us with much less goal difference.
Don't
Man.
worry.
Calm down.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Calm
but
down,
Shay,
man.
Shay, you got to
Yeah,
remember
I mean-
something.
No, we got a
Purpose.
better goal difference. We got a better goal.
Yeah,
difference.
that's what I'm saying. Lower goal difference.
He made fucking contact. I'll tell you this now. Jokes aside, he made contact after he won the ball. Watch
It's
the
not
replay
sending
back.
off. Bro, it's not a sending off. It's not a sending off. He shouldn't have been sent off. He won the ball, but that's not the point. He shouldn't have made the tackle now because in case he gets himself sent off. Number two, why did he have to make the tackle? Why did he have to make the tackle?
Bro,
What
he
happened?
won the
In that
ball though,
situation,
man.
Was it a shit touch? Was it
I'll
a
tell you
shit
this
touch?
now, it was a shit touch, but when you win the ball back, you see all the time in football. You see all the time in football,
put
bro. You
himself-
might have 1 second, you might have a shit touch, and then you can have a great recovery. It wasn't the best recovery, fair enough, but he still won the ball. It wasn't clean. I'll be honest right now, I'm not a stupid fan. I know it wasn't clean, but it wasn't a fucking.
No, it shouldn't have been
You
sent
can't
off.
just break ligaments and win the ball, man.
We're getting off topic here. We're massively getting off topic because, well, we are and we aren't. We are because we're talking about whether Ollie out is wasted energy or not.
It is.
And we aren't because the players are part of the problem, which comes down
Thank you.
to the ball.
But it's cheaper to replace players to replace a manager than to replace player. You always need to understand that.
I'll
The
say this
manager
right
always
now.
the one who takes
Is
the
it?
ball.
Is
I'll
it
say this right now,
actually
though.
cheaper?
It's not just
How
the
is
back
How
line.
is it cheaper? You have inconsistency, right? So money, a lot of money comes from Champions League, where you finish in the table. A manager comes in, you've got to pay off the manager that you're sacking first. Pay off the rest of that contract.
Yeah, but it's like
somehow.
5 million. It's like 5 million,
but
something
It
ridiculous.
doesn't matter, Kai. It still costs more money. You have a new manager
Yeah.
that comes in. They want new players. What if a Poch comes in? He doesn't like Bruno and Martial.
Oh, that-
What if they're
if
not
that-
in the plans?
He doesn't play with wingers, man. So there goes Martial, Rashford. All these guys are not going to do shit because he doesn't play.
doesn't-
so it's a very good example. So then he's going to want top players to play in those positions.
Yeah, he's
So
going to want to midfield.
again, you're looking at a rebuild again. So it's going to
I'll
cost
say this
you
right
money
now.
in the long term. He's going to want.
Well,
You know what you
coaching
just
staff,
remind
me?
new medical
You know what you
staff.
remind me, Indiana? Just hold on
It's
one
expensive.
second.
Indiana,
what
if
you
you
just
bring in a
reminded
manager anyway, you're gonna have to do a freaking rebuild anyway. Yeah.
So listen to
We're
this,
in a
right?
rebuild.
This is one guy I work with said this to me, right? It's a very, very good point. He says United have different ingredients from different chefs, and they're trying to make a dish for a specific thing. It means you have all these players, but from different managers, from different system, but none of them work in your own system. You know,
Lads,
none of them. Those players are one manager's thing.
That's
you
the
know.
point.
Lads, are you not seeing the
That's
bigger
the point,
picture
Kai.
here? It doesn't matter if Poch or no fucking other relevant manager cares about how a player plays. He's not a long-term manager. If he comes, he won't stay for long. Be real now. It does not matter. Either way, there's going to be faults. If he comes in, he'll have a good run of games. Indiana, I've said this 100 times to you as well, bro. Monster and Kai as well. You have a run of games. They'll be blessed. And then when he starts playing shit, people will question him. It might not be down to him why the team's playing bad or putting in low-tier performances, but his job will be questioned.
It's worse than that, Ads. With Poch, it's worse than that. He will want full control. He will
Absolutely.
want full control. This board
Listen.
do not get. This is the big thing
Poch
that I
ain't good
credit
enough
Ollie
anyway.
for. The way
I
he's
agree, I
navigated
agree.
the board and the owners. is
I
good.
agree and disagree with you, Indiana, to the point that I think that a better manager would get a little bit better from the players that he has. I think that's the only criticism I have with Lampard and Ole. You know, that's the
Kai,
only
you can
criticism I
say
have
that.
with them.
Kai, you can say that. But if you take a look at the team that Ole finished third with and got to 3 semi-finals, it consists of, at one point, Angel Gomez, Tahith Chong. He had to bring in Brandon Williams and play him half of the season. Mason Greenwood at the time was 17 years of age. 17. Yeah.
It's true.
Look at Martial, who was apparently a flop and had been playing out on the left. I love Martial. He turned him into our top goal scorer, made him our striker. He made Rashford better. He brought in Wan-Bissaka, who might not be the best going forward, but he was better. Our defense was better than the season before. He done all these things. So everyone talking about Poch this, Poch that. Poch made a Spurs side who, if they went and lost to somebody, no one really gave a shit because Spurs don't do anything.
But
to lose to Man United is a problem. We lose a game.
Absolutely.
We lose to PSG, and it was trending all over.
Yeah. But
Absolutely,
you
bro.
hold on. You hold on.
One of the best players in the world. But
Yeah.
Barcelona lost to Cadiz, and I didn't see one tweet about it. Real Madrid lost to
Yeah.
Shakhtar. I didn't see a tweet about
Just
it.
1 second, bro. Okay, just 1 second. But you're hanging into the fact that it's Pochettino. I'm just saying a better manager would get more. Is it enough more to the point where it's drastically visible? I'm not sure about that, because that's where the board comes in. But I do honestly believe that a better manager would get more.
You're
That's all I'm
right.
saying.
You know,
I'm not saying to the liberal that all of a sudden you win titles, but I'm saying it would be a better.
You're right. Kai, you're right. I think why you're right. Two reasons.
Different teams, bro. You could say that for. Sorry, 1 second. You could say that for many different teams. You could say
That's
for
what I'm
Arsenal.
saying. I'm saying in general. I'm not saying.
If Jurgen Klopp went and managed Arsenal, I'm sure he'd probably get a lot better out of Xhaka and Mustafi. If Jurgen Klopp went and managed Chelsea, he'd probably win you the league in his first season.
Man, even God can't get any more for Mustafi.
Here's the thing with football.
God
People
himself.
forget this. They forget about the balance across a side. So it's all about balance. Man United are probably the most unbalanced side.
But that's what I said in the beginning, Indiana. If you remember,
Absolutely.
But you know,
You look
you know
at
what it is as
Henderson.
well?
Henderson fits the
If you
balance.
sack Ole right now and get another manager in, I guarantee that other manager will do better in the beginning. But you know what happens? I'll tell you what happens.
the bounce.
We went unbeaten. After the lockdown. We looked fantastic. We went and drew a game, and I saw Ole out trending. Man United fans, the issue is Man United fans think they're better than what they fucking are. You don't. Sorry, my language. I know I'm not meant to say it.
It's cool on the
But you know
show.
what the problem is? You know what the problem is? The problem is we're not at position. I don't look at this season and think we need to win the league. I don't look at and think we need to win the league. I look at it and say we need to get top 4 now. Come February, if we're 2 points off the top, now I'm going to start saying, do you know what? If it's the end of February and we've only got maybe 10 games left, I'll say we can win the league. I'm not saying that now, but the issue is the biggest issue is I hate the listen. That's why I wasn't excited about Cavani signing. That's why I wasn't excited after we beat Southampton, because if I am that, I'm condoning what the Glazers are doing. That's number one. But unfortunately, it falls on Ole again. Like I said, listen, and the way I look at this, managers can't keep changing their system. Juventus looked like one of the best teams in the Champions League. They even battered Barcelona 3-0. They were playing 4-3-3. They got to the Champions League final against Real Madrid, shit themselves, and the manager goes 5 at the back. They lost. They got battered 4-1. Okay? Yeah. When the manager changes his... Listen, when your team is doing well, and that's how they play, even if you think you're weaker than the other team, you take your game to that team. If you win, you done well. Because anyone can win a game of football. But when you shit yourself and start changing your formation to suit them, you've lost half of the game already.
I said that already.
That's why.
Can I just say something though?
You know what?
It's not always about changing your style or changing your formation. If you watch Liverpool, for example, if we're losing a game or we're drawing a game and it's getting to the last 20 minutes of the game or the last 10 minutes, what Klopp will do, he won't change the system. We'll continue to high press, but he for example, may take off Mane and put on another defender. Do you know what I'm saying? And keep it more composed. And that's what we do. Yeah. The problem is it's too drastic. What's going on at United is too drastic. You'll change formation halfway through. You'll bring on a bunch of players. I was watching the RB Leipzig game, and you bring on Pogba, Van de Beek, together, and it's like, what's going on? You change it. You might as well start a whole new team, and that is
But
the issue.
I know,
Like,
I know
Can I
what
just
it
say
is.
something
Ole
quick,
is in-
Kai?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
I just want to say one thing though about changing the system. Our fan base are
Like a lollipop.
probably the most brain dead fucking fan base I've ever seen, and I'll say that now with passion. I'll tell you why.
Jesus Christ, man.
They would rather see 3 attacking midfielders in our midfield, and then once they're out and they play and there's no coverage when the other team start pressing towards us, watch them fucking complain. They want Pogba, they want Bruno, and they want Van der Beek in the middle. What are those 3 players gonna do when they come when the opposition come driving towards us? Because we know Pogba can't come back because literally doesn't. For some reason, he just doesn't know what to do when the teams are pressing towards him. Bruno won't come back because he's a cam. Van der Beek, yes, he can tackle. We've seen how well he can play next to Fred in the Champions League, but Ollie's not going to stay committed to that partnership, is he? Because he doesn't want to stick. He doesn't want. What he wants to do, I'll tell you this right now. What he wants to do, just like Arteta, but realistically, it's a bit better because you have better players. Arteta, for me, the reason why I don't think he's really a good manager. I'll tell you why I don't think he is. He tried to test every single possible change in any single column that he could possible in every single game that he was playing against. In Man City, he set out. They played pretty decently in that game. I can't lie, they lost, but they played pretty decently. Leicester, everyone says, "Oh yeah, but that was our best. That was our best game of the season." That's crap. And I'll tell you why it is. Their fan base, all they go on about is, "Oh yeah, we need to shift our team. We need to shift our team." And then when they lose, when Arteta shifts the team, they act negative and they say it should never have happened. With Manchester United, we have massive downgrades when we change our team, especially with the midfield. We have massive downgrades when it comes to defense and the attack. When it comes to the midfield, what we usually do is we'll have a run of games with Bruno, who's always going to be in the team no matter what. He's the only midfielder that's going to be in the team no matter what. We bought Van der Beek to swap them 2 together when Bruno needs a rest. We have put Donny behind him and not swapped them once.
I actually think we bought Van der Beek because Pogba. Here's the thing, right? This hasn't been announced in the news. Pogba and his agent, they've spoken to the club. They know they're not going to get another deal out of Pogba. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Van der Beek. I don't think Van der Beek was the number 1 signing. I don't think it happened that way. I think they were approached to buy Van der Beek and realised that actually now's a good time to buy him if we want him. I don't think he was the number 1 target. I think Sancho, maybe a Grealish was the number 1 target.
There's an issue there. Indiana, there's an issue there then. Because that means is Ole still playing Pogba because he's hoping to win his heart over like a lost girl trying to win a guy over, or why is he playing him? Because now you got to move past him. Then because he must know he's going as well. Then he must know this because if he didn't, he should have said, "I don't want Van der Beek. I don't need him." You don't buy Van der Beek for Bruno gets injured because you can play Pogba there. That's stupid. You don't. When you
I think it's 2 reasons. The first reason will be.
Sorry, Indiana. Can I just jump in and say something quickly? I think unofficial pundit. I think what you're saying about the Van der Beek situation is you're assuming that Ole signed these players. You don't actually know. We don't actually know whether Ole wanted Van der Beek or whether he wanted Telles or whether he wanted Cavani. We don't know who's actually making these decisions.
Apparently he wanted Grealish. From what
Grealish is not worth he's not worth the full price. He is worth. I can't understand what people would say he is.
Will Grealish make Man United better?
Absolutely.
Then I don't care. Then I don't care if they spend 150 million on him. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I'll say this right now, though.
I'm sick of this. The player ain't worth it. Let me just say, the market has changed. The market has changed, people. Understand this. And I know Kai knows this himself. Whether he likes it or not. 75 million. Kepa's not worth that. But that's where the market has gone.
Kepa's not worth a meal voucher, man.
He'll step into our team, and then when we start losing games with him in the team, people will start questioning why he bought him.
Is he better than Fred? He's better than Fred. There you go. That's good enough. He's better than Fred, so he's good enough.
That's fans for you, and you'll never change that. It's like, bro, I see somebody do a thread on Twitter, and I couldn't help myself. I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have just gone straight past it.
Yeah.
But he was doing Pogba replacements, and one of them was Renato Sanchez, because apparently he's rejuvenated. He's rejuvenated his career.
Yeah.
You don't get sucked into these things.
Number one.
You know what, Indiana? My grandfather said the same thing yesterday when he was going for a run, man. That he rejuvenated his career.
I don't want nobody right now. Joe Man United should be doing. They should be buying stuff. They should be buying players between the age of 26 and 29. They need a couple of players with experience in their prime. I don't want another kid. Like, who's that player? Is Zakaria, whatever his name is? He's a kid. He's a kid who has been playing in a shit league and will come into Manchester United. And know what happens? Because the media, because Man United gets clicks, what will happen is that guy will have one.
No, Zakaria is a baller, fam. Zakaria is a baller.
You don't understand it.
You missed the start of it.
You don't understand what I said then. My daughter's 11. she's a baller. Like, should Man United go and sign her? No. Anyway, she plays grassroots football. This guy's playing in another league where nobody knows about him other than a few kids who watch that football. If he comes into Manchester United, he makes one bad tackle, his face is all over the world. That's him done. Finished.
So can't we say the same? Can't we say the same for Anthony Martial?
Who can deal with that pressure, and some players who are actually proven in the Premier League and have played on that tempo. And that doesn't mean they have to be English.
So can we say this then? Can we say this then? Because I personally, I'll list all the players. Yeah, I'll list all the players who eventually come from. Well, obviously, every league, most leagues compared to the Premier League are low standard ones. I'll be honest with you right now. I'll say this right now. Bailey wasn't. He didn't come from a great club either, did he? Martial didn't. I wouldn't even say he did. People gas his old.
No, man. He came from a very good.
Hear me out. Kai, hear me out.
Monaco that year was very good, man.
Kai, 1 second. Hear me out.
Monaco,
I'm saying this to you now. No, Kai, 1 second. Kai, I'm not saying the club is bad. What I'm saying is this: what unofficial was just said is factual. Just because prime example. So you've just said that kid comes to us and he messes up, and his face is going to be all over social media, right? That's factual. It would happen. I'll tell you a prime example. We have bought players who don't really come across as obviously they do come across as people that can actually fix our team, but when they actually come to our team, they don't bring the energy that they were actually brought in for as much as they were gassed up as before. So I'll say this right now. I'm not saying Martial's old club is bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you compare it to Manchester United, it's not really a massive club, is it?
But
be real now.
No one cares about
which sorry, I'm interrupting you. Which superstar player United bought lately that was bad? I don't remember you buying any superstar player other than Pogba. You bought Fernandes, and he was very good. But that's the point, because you buy budget players. You're trying to save as much money as you can. Or you buy players who are overpriced.
It's not so much budget players. We're doing what Arsenal are doing as well. We're trying to do what Wenger and Alex Ferguson did: sign young players and make them. Number one, those two managers were different.
Doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work.
That killed Arsenal.
They knew how to do that. They knew how to do that. And number two, a lot of these young players. Look at Arsenal. Torreira and Guendouzi were meant to be the two greatest things since sliced bread. They were two little kids who had never played top-class football before. How would it? And this is what happened. Look at Man United. Lindelof, he was a kid when he came. He was like 22, 23 years old. Bailly, 22, 23 years old. Wan-Bissaka, 21. I can go through the list of players Man United. Luke Shaw, 19. We're buying kids and expecting them with no
don't buy kids. Buy established players.
100%. We need to buy.
You can't blame the league. You can't blame the league that they came from. You have to blame.
I'm
you
not.
cannot listen to me, right? Like United, what they United do lately, and they do a lot of it, right? They overplay for player more than they'll value. You know, it's like there are websites that you go to, like for example, Transfer Market, all those websites, right? You go to and you see how much the value is. And United, if they have a player, they don't do enough research into the player, and they're like, he's worth it or not. They just see the value and they're like, they want this much for him. This team wanted him, so he must be good. You know what they did with the Gabriel thing? I feel like they don't do the research. They just buy players who have inflated prices, but they were never shit.
Research in the manager.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. We were promised an interviewing process for a manager at Manchester United.
And a director of
then
football,
see-
right? You were
they
about to
then-
get Lewis
And the
Campos or
director of
something, right?
football, this is what they tell you every time there's a new manager. There's talk of a director of football coming in. Then Ollie started doing well as an interim manager, so they just gave him the job. They never interviewed anyone. This is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. This is what I'm
same
saying.
thing with
If you're
United, with
Ollie
the Arsenal.
out, you are Glazers in. Because if Poch comes in tomorrow and you become Poch out, you're Glazers in. That's why I'm manager in. I have no emotional attachment to Ollie being the manager. I just need to see this cycle broken.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I need to see.
The reason I was bringing this up, right? It's because people are acting that all those big signings fails. Look at Fernandes. Fernandes completely got you to the Champions League by single-handedly.
No, he never.
I know it's
No, he
No,
never. No, he
No,
didn't.
he
Kai.
never.
Come on.
not
No,
single-handedly.
never.
But
Bro.
he-
Okay,
let
guys,
me finish, bro. Let me finish.
One second. Because you sound like you know about football. So and I want to get this out there because people think I hate Bruno. I don't hate Bruno. I despise Bruno for one thing, and one thing only. Okay,
Despise more than hate, man.
I know. I'm putting it out there how much I despise it, and that's because you can watch so many Man United games, and a player of his class should be able to keep the ball, stop doing stupid flicks. Do you know he lost possession 30
He's
times?
Portuguese.
Oh,
He's Portuguese. That's how they play, man.
One second, Kai.
I want to sum up Fernandes for you. When he came in, Martial went on a run of scoring 11 goals. Martial's best ever run. That same time, Bruno Fernandes scored 12. 8 of them were penalties, not one by himself. That's number one. Yeah? Number two, Luke Shaw came back into him. A lot of people don't like him. Luke Shaw came back into him. The minute Shaw got injured, we lost to Chelsea. The minute Shaw got injured. But we went on an unbeaten run when Shaw was there. Matic was also playing out of his skin. Other players were playing out of their skin. We was doing really well. It wasn't just him. Because if it was just him...
But he elevated the team. He elevated the team when he came in.
If it was just him, we wouldn't have lost to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Yeah. We wouldn't have lost to Sevilla. We wouldn't have struggled against FC Copenhagen. We wouldn't be losing to these other teams. I'll give you an example. This year we played Chelsea at home, Arsenal at home, Spurs at home. Last year we took 7 points in those 3 games before Bruno came in. This year we took 1 point. 1 point. Bruno scored 1 goal in those games, a penalty won by Martial in the first minute against Spurs. He done nothing else. Against PSG 2 games and against Leipzig 2 games. Bruno has 1 goal in 4 games from the penalty spots. That means in our 7 biggest games this season, he's got 2 goals from penalties, won by other players. He's not as good as people making out. And I asked a question yesterday because I was arguing with someone.
Player, though.
No, what? I asked the question, not yesterday, the day before I was arguing with someone after the Man United game. I asked this question. Who was better, Bruno or Kaká? The person laughed. Even though they love Bruno more than anything. The person laughed and went, Kaká, obviously. I'm not that stupid. I said, why though? He's never had the numbers Bruno has. And that's all you guys rave about. Oh, because he was a better all-round footballer. Excuse me? No, what he was better at is... He was better at passing.
Listen. I don't want any.
It's more about the effect he's had on the side.
All time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say.
Bruno's a lucky player.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it's about the effect he had when he came in, and he's still keeping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Effect on players.
That's what I'm saying.
You might not like the fact
he's having an effect. Indiana, he's having an effect because as much as Man United fans don't want to say it, and I hate to say it myself, that club and that squad of players are a bunch of losers. They're like
Can I just say something?
But he's the perfect fit in terms of mentality.
Bro, let me just say
something. He elevated the team, like before he came in.
One second. Let me just say something quickly, yeah? Let me just say something. Monster, did you just say that's why he went to Real Madrid and flopped? Bro, the guy won a Ballon d'Or. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's on the same level as Ronaldinho and the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Another thing, talking about Bruno Fernandes.
Flopped at Real Madrid, bro.
He came back.
One second.
He's on the same level as Ronaldinho and Brazilian Ronaldo and Zidane. In fact, he's better than Zidane.
No, he's not.
Listen, again, stop. But pair of you, man. I'll mute you both. What's wrong with you? Arguing about Kaká. You've got each other's phone numbers. Just after this, just ring each other up, and you can have this debate between you. Do you know what I mean? I need to wrap up because I've got to go.
I've got to go as well, guys. I want to quickly thank you very much, everyone.
It was a pleasure knowing you, man.
Again.
Thanks.
Anytime, man.
Anytime.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Anytime,
Go and
man.
check Unofficial Pundit out on Twitter and YouTube channel as well, people.
Thanks.
Kai, I just want to quickly wrap up by saying, where should the energy be directed from United fans? If this was happening at Chelsea and everything was exactly the same at Chelsea, where would you expect fans to be directing their energy?
Probably to the board.
Cool.
And then the board and the manager. I would say
The
both.
manager
Both.
definitely has something to do with it, man.
Yeah, but imagine if all they
He
had
doesn't. He
the
doesn't
squad
get a
that
pass
Lampard
by me.
has.
This is not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not
Would
saying
they do
the
the same?
manager gets passed.
Do you think they want to do the same quality work, Monster?
Yeah, but
The thing
Kai.
is, no, I get the manager, the board is messing up. We get that, but the problem is when the board in that is, beginning of the season, transfer windows open and blah blah. We understand that, but once you're on the pitch, you've got to do what you got to do. And Ollie, unfortunately,
Absolutely.
is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like even though you're right, you didn't get Sancho, you didn't get a DM like you should have. You lot.
This is something that's happened for 7 or 8 years. Actually,
I know.
It happened under Fergie. This is the
But
problem.
I hear that, Indiana. Let's be honest. You have to ask yourself, does Ollie's team that he has right now, is it good enough to take them to places that he's not getting to? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it good enough to get to the group to the knockout stage of the Champions League? It is. You'll be lying.
Yeah, but what do you get? You're missing the point here, because I don't. This is where, like, Ollie Outers annoy me, right? We get into Champions League, they're negative about it, like we're going to go out straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we do go out, they're pissed off, and I just think, but that's what you expected, no? You don't like. It's stupidity.
Can I just say something, like Indiana? I completely 110% agree. I just want to say this right now, though. Everyone who came, anyone who is who's Ollie in, I'll tell you this right now. If Ollie leaves, and I'll say it time and time again, if Ollie leaves, there will be no drastic change. There'll be no drastic change, and then when there's no drastic change, people will queue in for a new manager. Prime example: all these big influencers think it's good enough to get rid of a manager every fucking season. This is why people started the Ollie out hashtag in the first place. People started. Listen, I'll tell you this right now. The facts are the out and in hashtag came from us. It came from us. It did, because to be honest, it obviously started Ollie out, and everyone started spreading it across Chelsea, Arsenal, and then obviously drastic changes at small clubs like Watford. The hashtag came from us, and I'm fucking embarrassed I did as well. I'll tell you that now. I'm embarrassed.
Ollie's at the wheel. Ollie's at the wheel, man.
Where do you feel that the energy should be directed?
As a Chelsea fan,
stop this nonsense, man. Stop. I'll say this right now, though.
Properly.
I'll say this right now.
So how come he's not a Liverpool fan, then?
I don't even know.
Properly,
I don't know.
Properly.
I don't know where the energy should be directed to. All I know is that I know Ollie's taking the RAF and the board is taking the RAF, but the main people, in my opinion, should be taking the RAF for the players, because they're the people who present and actually get you the goals. And then realistically, they might be getting the goals, fair enough, but I'm a little upset that all the energy is going into our second half performances and we're getting comebacks as if it's some big plan. It's not good enough. And I'm sick of it. People say be positive. And
Agreed.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody hit the like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. I got to wrap up. So, O'Shea.
Yeah.
If this was Liverpool, and let's be honest, like, Liverpool have only just started coming back, really. Where would you? And actually, you had bad owners at one stage. So where would you be directing this energy? Would you be directing it at the manager?
I'd be running the board out. I'd be coming up with. I'd be calling up Monster, and I'd be saying, "Fam, let's go on a glide, fam. We're coming to find these man. They're pagans." the energy needs to be aimed. The energy needs to be aimed at the board and at Ed Woodward, but specifically Ed Woodward, because it's very difficult to get owners out. And United, you're never going to get United's owners out, because United makes too much money for the owners to sell up, and there isn't a queue of right now. So I think the energy should be at Ed Woodward, and anytime you man are ready to go Manchester and run these man out, call me in it. So that's what I'm going to say.
Monster, same question.
People expect the owners to. They're saying the owner should sell the club. Listen, think of it like this: if I run a business, yeah,
It's making money.
when it
not
comes
gonna
to
happen.
money, the club is bringing in so much money. Like it's a
Absolutely.
in terms of just money. So why the hell will I, who owns the club, I'm the owner, this is my property. Why the hell should I sell it for you because you're a fan? I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's how
Like,
they're
why-
thinking.
Why would you care what ads a Chelsea fan think what
I
United
stop
think?
this.
You know what I mean?
Listen, I'll tell you this right now. Yeah, I'll tell you this right now.
They're not going to care, man.
When we had our new host on GNA TV, this kid Kai, yeah, always fucking all his little minions come into
Who
the
did-
chat, start saying I'm a Chelsea fan. Stop this nonsense now.
Listen,
Stop it.
I've really got to wrap up because I've really got to
No,
go.
we voted us to be your granddad.
This
That's
is-
what you're talking about.
If you
What?
want to go through quickly, shout out your socials.
Oh,
Kai.
God.
Don't find me on Instagram, please. If you want to find me, go. A lot of you try to do it, but I don't accept requests. So just find me on No Filter Football KH.
Ads.
You can find me at Adzils on Twitter and Twitch as well. You can find me on GNA TV. New uploads coming soon.
Or the Blue Boy 10.
O'Shea. O'Shea, you there?
Okay.
The internet ran off in McDonald's.
It's probably gone to buy
30
United
minutes.
chair.
Can't hear him. Monster, shout yours out. Everyone.
Yeah, you can find
Shout
me in
out
the bando. No, I'm joking. Find me at ShayJ_O. And like I said, keep liking and sharing all these man. Yeah,
Appreciate that, O'Shea.
you might not
Monster.
hear me.
We hear you. We hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, it's Monster
Hello.
CFC. I got a show.
We heard you twice, man. That's it. Enough. Yeah, Master, go ahead, man.
Monster CFC. I got a show coming up later on with the Grand Dam Dammy as well from
Can you not hear me at all?
7 p.m. So yeah, if you want to come along, said Monster CFC on YouTube, innit?
Yeah, good. And obviously, you can see most of these guys on the terrace as well, the football terrace. If you haven't subscribed to that, like, what are you doing? Go and check
You're living
out all
wrong.
these
You're
guys.
living
Go
wrong,
and check out all these guys' channels. Tomorrow night will be Fraud Watch again, so get your frauds in. And the last thing I've got to say really is, if you are Ollie out, you are Glazers in. You're part of the problem as far as I'm concerned. Like, direct that energy to where it needs to go. I agree with O'Shea, should go towards the board. The manager is not the fix. For me, it's a backward step. I've got a show coming with Neeks, Devil in the Details, Danny, and leader of the Resistance, KJ. That's coming up soon. So
Big
look
up,
out
big
for
up.
that one. Please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and go and check out these guys' channels as well. Catch you later.
Peace, people.